order to keep this country safe. May their souls rest in perfect peace. So it gives me very great pleasure to be here today, where my brother said I should come and try and preside over the public presentation and launching of his own contribution towards national security and development. The book is written from the flock of the best in the country, the armed forces. I will say that the forces in general represent the epitome and finest voices in national security, not just in Nigeria, but the world over. And as put by the President and Commander-in-Chief, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, this year is now with us as a civilian. And without the enabling environment of peace and security, end of quote. I don't think anybody can argue with that. I've had that experience as a governor, that you cannot think of economic development without the enabling environment of peace and security. So I must give credit to the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that today there is no part of this nation that there is any foreign flag or the banditry flag hoisted, particularly in the Northeast, as a result of your gallantry. May God protect all of you. You've done exceedingly well, and we are very proud of you. The Nigerian Armed Forces, therefore, by providing security, creates environment for development to continue in Nigeria, and I'm speaking in all ramifications. On this premise, I'm happy to welcome all of us to this book presentation and launching. The book is titled Mobilizing for National Security and Development. I believe it has come at the right time, because Nigeria is attempting, through His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, to have a quantum leap in development. And bringing this book here will also give us an insight into the author's experience, not just in Nigeria, but the world over, in his quest to bring peace to other countries. He visited, he was in Sierra Leone, he was in Eritrea, and so many other countries that he took part in peacekeeping. So writing this book means that it's also going to bring his own part of the experiences in those places. But I must also add that it's unfortunate that most of the countries that our people died for, at the end, when peace returns, they tend to forget us. And one of them is South Africa, where unfortunately Nigerians are being burnt and are being pursued. And somebody sent me a quote which allude to the late president of Zimbabwe, President Mugabe. I don't know whether it is true. He said that it is only in South Africa that an illiterate who has not passed primary school will see a medical doctor from Nigeria and will attack him and say, "This is one of those taking my job." I don't know what, you got what I said. He said that it's only in South Africa that a stark illiterate who has not passed primary school will see a consultant medical doctor from Nigeria on the street and say, "This is one of those who will take my job." So I wanted to compare the job of the consultant with the job of an illiterate and see whether the consultant went to South Africa to take his job, and then he will attack him. So I must say that this is timely. So I'll just say that, quoting from the book, if you look, when you look at the book and you take a good look at page 14, it states, and I quote, "Mobilization is limited by the resources available." Resources, of course, are all-encompassing. Resources in terms of human capacity, in terms of material availability, in terms of demographics, and in terms of the availability of information. Be that as it may, the caliber of personalities in this hall that I've seen, who have all had a taste of what security is all about, just looking around across the forces, I believe that mobilization as proposed in this book has already started. I've seen students up there I know they represent the future of this country. So if we are mobilizing you to take part in ensuring peace so that we can bring about national development, it means he's touching the past, the present, and the future. And for some of us, my uncle had something, he used to ask me, he said, Godswill, when I was a young man, they said, respect your elders, respect your fathers and your mothers, so that your days shall be long on earth. And then when he became an elder, they said, respect the youth, because they are the future leaders. In between, he lost respect. He never had his own. As a child, he had to respect his elders, his mother, his father, so that his days shall be long on earth. As an elder, when he was expecting the respect, they said, no, respect the youth, the children, because they are the future leaders. And at the same time, he lost his own, so he never belonged. But seeing them here shows that the mobilization has started. So I welcome the students that I've all seen, and I'm saying, may you have a greater Nigeria than we, in Jesus' name. I guess that the title of the book is very apt, and having gone through the material contents in the pre-publication copy, I'm most delighted to state categorically that the time for the presentation of this book is best, and I believe that considering the prevalent and precarious security situation, not just in Nigeria, not just in West Africa, but in the nation, or the entirety of the global community as a whole, this is very, very apt and welcoming. Let me say without much ado that I want to call on all of us to support the realization of the objectives and aims which the author has painstakingly put down for all of us. A strategy to be adopted by all the 36 states, the 774 local governments in Nigeria, the elders, the youths, and of course, the working class, and of course, the politicians. You know, a strategy that will ensure that we mobilize for national development. We mobilize to ensure security. Security is everybody's business. And if we can all come together, I believe that our contributions will bring about development in Nigeria. For instance, people see things and refuse to talk. If you don't give information to the security man, how would he act? He wouldn't know what has happened. Some people are raped and they are afraid to come out. If you don't come out, it means the rapist will never be brought to justice. And if, of course, you have a child in your home and the child is on drugs and is engaged in anti-vices that are inimical to the development of the society, one day that child will kill somebody close to you. It will not only break your heart, it will become a menace and will destroy the integrity and the name of your family. So I believe strongly that even from the home, we all have to mobilize. It's everybody's business. If we must have security, information gathering is part and parcel of preventing chaos in the society. The President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, General Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, in his first October 2019 address, he stated, change can only be delivered if there is unity of purpose as individual and as a nation. The President has indeed said all about this book launch today. And I'm now saying that after this book has been presented and launched, with the hindsight, having perused the pre-publication copy, let there be unity of purpose as individuals and as a nation in aggressively propelling the strategy as presented in this book, so that the security situation in our families, in our local governments and our communities, and the state and the entire nation can improve. I want to use this opportunity once again to thank very warmly my friends and Honorable Minister of Defense, the National Security Advisor, the Chief of Defense Staff, the Chief of Army Staff, the Chief of Naval Staff, the Chief of Air Staff, Inspector General of Police, Director General SSS, and other security chiefs who are here represented for the efforts they are carrying out on a daily basis to occasion and engender development through security. I cherish the dreams of Brigadier General DG Odofa in trying to bring his own perspective to the fore. The amount of time and attention he has put in to this book and has propelled the success that I see today with all of us here. It looms too large to escape mention. Your limitless devotion to Nigeria's national security, I've known you for a while. I know how committed you are to your nation, and I know that in you there is citizenship embedded in your bosom. This will never go unrewarded by God. Your indelible marks on the signs of history and posterity will never be forgotten through what you have done today. I'm almost certain that our celebrant here is greatly motivated by the positive gestures of a lot of persuasions, such as the uncommon transformation that he witnessed in Akwa Ibom State during the era. I call on everyone here to be open-minded in supporting the book's publication. The author hinted me earlier that the process that will be realized today will be put into production of more copies for the executives, the legislature, the judiciary, religious bodies, traditional institutions, and in fact all stakeholders in our nation towards the national mobilization and quest for development. And I do know that this is a major, major contribution. It's wonderful because he's not intending to sell to most of those institutions. He just wants to make sure, like the National Assembly, I believe he will send over 500 copies to them, over 1,000 copies to them. So whatever you can do to support the gesture, please do so. Of course, for the gentlemen and ladies in the armed forces of the Federation, thousands of copies will also be printed for them. Of course, I would say that we should be able to ensure that most Nigerians avail of the opportunity to see the work that he has done. On the whole, I must thank the National Defense College, the director, the commandants, I think it was here, the commandants of the college. The college is still what it was, very clean, very serene, very welcoming, and at the same time, it's a status symbol for the Nigerian nation. I thank you for keeping the tradition of the college going. On my part, I'm now a minister of the Federal Republic, but I will not stop. I love education. And for those of you who sometimes think that education is very costly, try illiteracy. Try literacy. If you think education is costly, try literacy. So I want to thank the armed forces for the kind of training that you give to your men and officers. And I assure you that this man is a product of quality education from the armed forces. Congratulations for this venture, and the event is hereby declared.
Thank you so much, sir. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are going to join them in cutting the cake by spelling the word security. So let's go. Give me an S. R. I. T. And A. Y.
Sorry, can you please make way. That should be all.
Was very fantastic, and I want to congratulate Brigadier General Odofa for making this kind of laudable contribution towards the literary park for the country. And I believe strongly that national development is in tune also with security. You cannot have national development without having security, so the two are intertwined. Just like I always applaud the president for his fight against corruption, because he's doing so also with a lot of social initiatives, trying to cushion the effect of poverty in the country, because poverty and also corruption are intertwined. They are twin brothers. Poverty leads to corruption, and corruption in turn deepens poverty. So fighting both of them together, I believe strongly we will get results as the years go by. So it's the same thing with the book that has just been launched, talking about national development. Without peace, without national security, you cannot have national development. That's why I came in person, and that's why I applaud the author, and I wish him well, and I know it's a major contribution towards global peace.
So
thank you so much.
Delta region is faced with security challenges.
Yeah.
What strategy do you have in place to ensure that part of the problem that the Niger Delta region is facing in terms of security is brought to a clean?
I think the major thing there is development. Because if you are able to empower people, if you are able to create employment opportunities, if you are able to utilize the funds of the NDDC for the benefit of the people, automatically you reduce the strife, you reduce the insecurity in the region, you reduce the youth restiveness, you reduce everything that will lead to social vices that are inimical to the growth and development of the country and the region. So we will try to make sure that we refocus the Niger Delta Development Commission. I'm not running it, I'm only supervising it, but I'm assuring you that a situation where you can stay for 10 years and you cannot see major infrastructure on ground, that situation has come to an end. And Mr. President is very determined that those who collected monies and did not do the jobs should go back to site. As I speak now, even before the commencement of the forensic audit, over 71 contractors have gone back to site, and I think that is a welcome development. At the end, we will try and sort out the over 10,000, they said it's about 12,000 abandoned projects. We'll look at those things and see the ones we can complete within the next 12 months for the benefit of the people. So I think that the way to go to reduce insecurity in the Niger Delta region is development. It's empowerment of the people. It's also to plan for the period that we may call the post-amnesty era. Because if at the end, but amnesty cannot be in perpetuity. If we do not plan for a period when the amnesty will come to an end, and the youths that are right now enjoying the amnesty can graduate from amnesty into full employment and even earn something better, then we are now leaving a time bomb for the future where we may have adult delinquency. So I believe strongly that we have the strategy to engender not just the peace of the Niger Delta region, but to ensure proper development of the Niger Delta region. We will do it together. Thank you so much.
I have this topic. I'm actually being inspired, having served in peacekeeping missions in Sierra Leone, Ethiopia, Eritrea, and South Sudan, and I saw what happened in those places. And because of the role I played in bringing peace to those countries, and having been in the security system in Nigeria, and seeing what is going on in the country, and I felt we cannot just fold all our hands based on what the president has been saying, that the armed forces should evolve all means they can in order to improve the security situation. So I decided to put down this in black and white, and my intention is to get these books distributed free of charge to the states, members of the legislature and the judiciary. And I'm thinking by the time they read the content of the book and see the proposal I'm making, we will be able to start the mobilization from the grassroots level, starting from the wards, and then from there we will reduce to the states and move to the national level. If we are able to do this, mobilization is all-encompassing, but it depends on the resources available and the materials. But if the states are able to produce those things and people are moved into behaving in the same way, acting in the same way, and supporting the security agencies, I think the situation in the country will become better.
Specifically, sir, what we want to know is what is this thing you want us, you want the country to do? Break it down. What are the recommendations?
Some of those recommendations.
The recommendations I'm making is that we should start from the ward level. We should start at the grassroots, bringing all the, like you see, all the unemployed people, all the youths, all the even the age, all age group should be formed into certain groups for developmental processes and for supporting security agencies in the performance of their task. That's simple. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, your full names on record.
My full name, Dominic Gabriel Udofa.
Brigadier General.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Dominic.